afternoon. This is news around the world on Pensioners 106.7 FM. Agbarigo Onirike Ibadan. I am BABAFEMI. OBIDEYI. First, the top stories. Federal government discloses Italian coronavirus victim clinically stable. Tunisia's Ministry of Health orders immigrants to isolate themselves on arrival to the country. Trump's travel ban on 26 European nations enforced in the United States. And in sports, Mahrez set to leave Etihad Stadium at the end of the season. Now the news in full. The federal government has disclosed that a 44-year-old Italian who tested positive for the coronavirus in Nigeria is clinically stable. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Hanire, while giving an update on the virus in Abuja, said the medical team in charge would determine his release early next week. He added that despite the spread, there would be no ban on airlines or foreigners, as the ministry would continue to monitor all incoming travelers and those marked for secondary screening. Hanire reiterated the declaration of the World Health Organization that coronavirus is now a pandemic, but assured that Nigeria would maintain a high degree of screening at all ports of entry. No fewer than 1,900,000 candidates will sit the 2020 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) today across over 600 computer-based test centers nationwide. These arrangements, according to the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, had been made to ensure that its workers and all candidates taking part in the examination use hand gloves and hand sanitizers. The board said it had delisted a total of 63 CBT centers for various offences ranging from extortion of candidates, loss of vital access instruments to technical deficiencies. The UTME will last till Saturday, April 4, with about 1.9 million registered candidates, being the highest so far in the 41-year history of the board. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has vowed to look into the alleged fraud in the Oyo State Teaching Service Commission (TESCOM), especially during the just concluded teachers recruitment exercise in its state. The governor made the pledge while playing host to the state's chapter of the Nigerian Union of Teachers, led by its chairman, Prince Samson Adedoyin. Governor Makinde, who stressed that he will not compromise his stance on free, qualitative and basic education in the state, declared that 4 workers of Oyo TESCOM will be dismissed over gross misconduct.
I've taken it upon myself to monitor the educational sector because we've committed a lot of money into it and we want to get value for this money. And the feedback that I'm getting has not been encouraging. I carried out a sting operation. First, I've had to let a woman go because she was collecting money from people from teachers to get promoted or to get posted to choice areas. That's one. 2, there's a case of 4 people collecting money and they were caught at a TESCOM. They are going to be dismissed and they will be prosecuted.
In his address, Prince Adedoyin used the occasion to appeal to the governor to release the school running grant for the second term.
The running cost has gone to them for the first term, but our appeal is that we said the school running grant. This is the second term of the second term. We want to appeal as much as possible, sir. If we are the 10th week of the term, remaining just only 3 weeks, we have not received the running grant for second term. We want to plead that you help us look into it.
Meanwhile, Governor Makinde also received members of the university press and promised that the present administration will collaborate with relevant agencies in the state. It's still news around the world on Pensioners 106.7 FM. Let's now talk some labor and pension stories. Members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, have insisted on not joining the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System. ASU began a 2-week strike to call the federal government to implement its 2009 agreement and resolutions, as well as excluding public university lecturers from the IPPIS. Addressing journalists at the Bayero University Kano Secretariat, the zonal ASU chairman, Professor Mahmoud Lawan, said ASU would continue to remain resolute on the issue of IPPIS. Lawan warned that any attempt by the government to dictate what happens in the university system would erode the autonomy of the universities by making them incapable of delivering on their mandate of teaching, research, and community service. As part of the ongoing verification exercise for retirees in Oyo State, pensioners from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, BCOS, Sports Council, Ladokia Akintola University of Technology, LAUTECH, Alliance College of Education, and Oyo State Housing Corporation. Speaking with our correspondent, the General Manager of Pensioners FM, Mr. Liri Shitu, a former staff of BCOS, who also presented himself for the exercise, said the concept of the exercise is good, but should be more properly planned next time. A former director of programs at BCOS, Oloye Bamijojo, said the next time a special exercise should be held for senior retired officers instead of bringing everyone in one umbrella. A representative of the agency in charge of the exercise, Mrs. Saidat Otun, said the executives of the departments should be blamed for not specifying the very aged ones among them. Rather, they scattered the forms and it was hard for them to identify. Members of the Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees, NOGE, Ibadan Northwest and Ibadan Local Council Development Area, have held the grand finale of the NOGE Week. In his keynote address, Oyo State Chapter, Chairman of NOGE, Comrade Titilayo Sodo, lauded Governor Seyi Makinde for the swift implementation of the minimum wage and prompt payment of workers' salaries and fulfillment of other promises across sectors in the state. Sodo, who is also the Oyo State Chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress, reiterated the commitment of the union to fighting for the rights and privileges of workers in the state. While giving the welcome address, the Chairman, NOGE, Ibadan Northwest and Ibadan LCDA, Comrade Bolaji Kiru, charged workers of the councils to be more efficient in the dispensation of their roles. Keru also called on workers to be punctual and committed to the development of the state in order to complement the efforts of Governor Seyi Makinde in his workers' welfare promotion agenda. Highlight of the event was the presentation of awards to the best performing workers in various departments. It's still news around the world on Pensioners 106.7 FM. Now to other stories. Tunisia's Ministry of Health has ordered all immigrants from any country to isolate themselves upon arrival to the country. This preventive measure was adopted by Tunisia against the spread of coronavirus in the country, as breaking quarantine rules is a criminal offense in the country because the authorities cannot monitor people's behavior on this scale. Tunisia Prime Minister Yildiz Fakfak will, according to report, address the nation on the measures employed to strike a balance between prevention and containment to avoid the severe economic impact that comes with even tighter controls. President Donald Trump's travel ban on 26 European nations has come into force in the United States as part of a contingency plan to tackle the coronavirus crisis. The ban applies to non-Americans who have been in the Schengen border-free travel area within 14 days of traveling to the United States. The United Kingdom, the Republic of Ireland, and returning United States citizens are not affected. Trump also declared a national emergency, freeing up to $50 billion in relief funds. The government is drawing emergency plans in response to the claim of Prison Officers Association on the unprecedented challenges facing England's prisons. In the meantime, prison staff will be offered bonuses to cover shortages and staff could be redeployed to cover frontline services. A number of inmates died during unrest at several Italian prisons last week after visits were suspended. As the Prison Officers Association has compared conditions in England's prisons to those found on cruise ships, and the Prison Governors Association has said cases of the virus are inevitable. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said nearly everyone entering the country from midnight on Sunday might self-isolate to contain the spread of the coronavirus. Ardern said the new measure also included returning New Zealanders. The only exemption is for small Pacific islands with no confirmed virus cases. New Zealand has 6 confirmed cases. speaking at the news briefing, Allen said the new restrictions would be reviewed by the authorities in 16 days. The head of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, says Europe is now the epicenter of the global coronavirus pandemic. Ghebreyesus urged countries to use aggressive measures, community mobilization, and social distancing to save lives. His comments came as several European countries reported steep rises in infections and deaths. Italy has recorded its highest daily toll yet. There were 250 deaths recorded over the past 24 hours, taking the total to 1,266, with 17,660 infections overall. You're still listening to news around the world on Pensioners 106.7 FM. We will be back with entertainment and sports stories. Coronavirus has badly damaged the entertainment industry, with films, concerts, TV shows and theater performances postponed or cancelled. Disney's Mulan became the latest major film released to be delayed, following Fast and Furious 9, A Quiet Place 2, and the James Bond film No Time to Die. Broadway shows have shut down, while many television shows have suspended filming. Theme parks have also been affected, with Disneyland shutting down all of its attractions. Manchester City winger Riyad Mahrez will be allowed to leave the Etihad at the end of the season, with Paris Saint-Germain keen to bring in the Algerian to Ligue 1. The 29-year-old Mahrez has had a hand in 23 goals in 37 games in all competitions this season to help guide City to the brink of the Champions League quarterfinals. Pep Guardiola's side, according to reports, potentially set to miss out on European football for the next 2 years following a UEFA ban. The former Leicester City man will reportedly seek a move elsewhere to quench his desire to play Champions League football next season. Meanwhile, Thomas Tuchel's PSG could be forced into the market for a right-sided attacker in the summer if they lose prized asset Kylian Mbappe, who has been constantly linked with a move to Real Madrid. To end news around the world on Pensioners 106.7 FM, here is a recap of the main stories. The federal government has disclosed the 44-year-old Italian coronavirus victim clinically stable. Tunisia's Ministry of Health has ordered immigrants to isolate themselves on arrival to the country. United States President Donald Trump's travel ban on 26 European nations has been enforced in the United States. In sports, we brought to you with a Manchester City winger, Riyad Mahrez, is set to leave the Etihad Stadium at the end of the season. For any information, contact us on these mobile numbers: 0812-008-6270 or 0812-188-9462, or visit us at Oyo State Pensioners House at Barigo, Onireke, Ibadan. The news editor is Omobalaji Akintola. On behalf of the production crew, I am BABAFEMI OBIDEYI. Good afternoon.
Looking for that radio station that will serve you better.
Best of sports, entertainment, you gon' know we be master.
Information, education, now we get to make you era.